This week on No Cell Service, our hosts cover the supernatural horror, The Ring. This content is intended for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is advised.
We have a few announcements, and then we got to get into my main gripe about everything.
Hell yeah. Sorry.
If you can hear a pupperoon in the background, the dogs are unsupervised downstairs.
Yeah, my wife's out of the house for a minute, so...
Yeah, all the ladies are doing their thrift shopping. I don't know. I heard they were at a thrift store, and then there's TJ Maxx now. They're doing some shoppings.
They were talking about Goodwill this morning and coffee shop, and I was like, y'all just go have fun.
I called my wife when I got off work, and I was like, hey, just like want to let you know I'm going to finish the movie and head over to Terrett's. And she was in the middle of talking and said, oh my God. And I was like, what, are you okay? She found, like, imagine a leather jacket and then make it short sleeve. It was a leather shirt.
What the fuck?
So thrift shopping galore is happening over there, I'm assuming. Unless that was at a TJ Maxx, that's insane.
Yeah.
But anyways, announcement 1. Book club. We talked about this at the start of the month. Just like how we did our game stream, we're also going to try out something called book club, where me and my wife talk about a book with a corresponding movie. Today, we are covering The Ring. So yesterday, we covered The Ring, the book. Koji Suzuki.
Oh.
He wrote The Ring, which is an entire series, if you were not aware. I think there are 5 books total.
I was not aware.
It was originally a trilogy, and then added a novella and 2 other books. I own the first one and the 5th one on accident, because I grabbed 2 of them together, and they're not numbered. So I was like, oh, Spiral and The Ring. And I grabbed those 2, and it does not go in order. Spiral is not next.
Nice.
So I think it's the 5th one, or it's just not the 2nd one. So that will be up on Twitch, probably, and we'll see if we can do an audio file that will also post here. So if you see an audio file, we succeeded doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Other announcements, we do see your guys' recommendations, by the way.
Yeah, our social media manager, aka my wife, has been hounding me about some recommendations from you guys, and we are going to get to them all. The problem is we set up a calendar. It's not like it's a super strict one where we like have to follow to the T, but the way that we set things up kind of works out for some of our other projects, like book club, streaming, stuff like that. Like the reason we did the Resident Evil stream was because we just talked about the first movie. And so certain things is us trying to line up everything. And so if we don't get to your recommendation immediately, I promise you that episode will release at some point.
We have a list of recommendations that are added to a list when we make the calendar. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to sprinkle them in as we go. It is also hard though. Like a bunch of people are recommending Hokum, which we also talked about on the Resident Evil stream. It just came out, my guys. Do you know how hard it is for me to take notes with a movie that just came out?
Yeah, we don't really do these for movies only in theaters, just because, like, yeah, you take notes. I usually try and watch them day of so that they're fresh in my mind, and like our dynamic is very specific in how that works.
It's very, very hard for us to watch a movie in theaters and then talk about it on the podcast.
Mm-hmm. But we will get to your suggestions, because obviously, like, those are, those are the things you guys want to see and hear us talk about. So,
and you know what? There's a Discord with a channel strictly dedicated to shit you want us to watch.
Yeah, if a movie is put in that list, there's a very good chance that it's gonna be watched.
Especially if you put it in there, that means other people can like it or say yes. Mm-hmm. And so we know exactly what everyone wants to watch.
Yep.
Just 100%. For the record, pointing out our Discord again, all of the links should work.
Yeah.
If you're having issues, let us know. We'll fix it.
100%.
Now to get on to this. So, my biggest fucking gripe, Sadako or Samara? Do you know about this?
I'm just assuming it's like the American version of the girl versus the Japanese version, like...
Depending on who you talk to, yeah?
Oh.
There's someone on Reddit made a whole chart about the Sadako in the books versus the Sadako in the movies versus Samara. It's a whole thing. But to simplify it, yes. Sadako is the Japanese original version. I don't know I haven't watched, there's a lot of Ring movies in Japanese. Do you know this? This list is gigantic in Japanese Ring movies. It's a whole freaking saga.
Damn.
And then you have the book series. So you have Sadako in the movies, Sadako in the books. I don't know if it turns into like by movie 3, they diverge entirely from the book, so it's not the same. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But for all intents and purposes, yes. Sadako is the Japanese version. Samara is the English version.
Okay.
And that's what we're going to boil it down to that for simplicity. Americans did this movie dirty, all right? Oh, God, I remember loving this movie as a kid, and then rewatching it now as an adult, I'm like, I'm gonna kill everyone in this movie. Also, none of this makes sense. They don't even, we'll talk about it when we get to it, towards the end when Noah is in the records, and they kind of glance over a bunch of Japanese writing and don't talk about it. You're just like, okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of implications, and obviously, if you know the ring is from Japan, it feels like homage or like being like, hey, like we're recognizing. And you've got the Samara name, which is obviously not an American name, as far as I'm aware.
Hold on.
Oh, the Pupperoons.
Yeah. You know what's funny is, for some reason in my head, anytime I thought of this movie, I pictured the main girl as Jennifer Aniston. And I don't know why. But then, like, I turn it on, I'm like, that's Naomi Watts. That's not Jennifer Aniston. I don't know what the fuck is going on with my head.
I think it's just like famous white woman. Blonde white woman, maybe?
Honestly.
Who's the, I kept picturing, and I said this off air, I kept thinking of the woman from The Grudge, who...
It's very easy to get those two movies mixed up, because I think the spirit type is the same, right? Like they're both Onryo.
Sorry.
you're
I
good.
got sidetracked because Sarah Michelle Gellar is in The Grudge. And I'm like, there's no fucking way I got her confused with anybody. The Forest is also a blonde white woman. What is with Americans throwing blonde white women into Japanese storylines?
Good question.
Interessante.
There's got to be some reason behind it, but I can't think of one. I'm watching an American remake of a Japanese movie for the first time, because it can only go two ways.
Yeah.
It's either going to be a really faithful reimagining, or it's going to fucking suck dick and everyone's going to hate it.
So the thing with, to dive into this now, we open with Katie and Becca. They're in school uniforms, lying on a bed, watching TV. Katie's going off on how like TV rots your brain and like wavelengths and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, one of them's talking about the invisible waves that are emitted off of the TV and the government or whatever.
Yep. That's Katie. That's Katie, who's just going off, and Becca's like stone-faced, flipping through channels, and turns to her and hands her the remote and is just like, you pick then. And she shuts off the TV. She goes off about this whole thing. And then Becca says, do you know what's really scary? And regales this whole urban legend about watching a VHS tape and, the phone rings and you die after 7 days. And Katie goes white. And she's like, what the, how do you know about that? And she's like, it's just a legend. She's like, no, how do you know about that? And she's like, oh, Josh told me. And you get this whole thing of like Katie faking, choking and falling in Becca's lap and having this whole moment.
Being like, I watched the tape last week.
With Josh.
Yeah, and then she fake chokes and falls into Becca's lap. And then they start giggling and they're like, huh.
Well, and then Becca looks at her and says, so you were Josh last weekend?
Yeah, so the tone shifts completely.
They end up going downstairs for, the phone rings. That's why I was like, why do they go downstairs? The phone rings, and then Katie goes white again, and Becca looks at her, recognizing, oh shit, like, Katie turned it into a joke, but she was actually being serious. She did actually watch a tape, and she's terrified to answer the phone.
In the urban legend, they say that after you watch the tape, the phone rings as if someone's, like, calling to confirm that you watched the tape or something like that.
I don't really know if they explain why the phone rings.
No.
But the phone rings, and then you hear someone on the other line say, like, you'll die in 7 days.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing, right? So they go downstairs. Becca answers the phone, and keeps very stoic this entire time until she hands the phone over to Katie, and it's just Katie's mom.
Yeah.
So Becca goes back upstairs. It's like they just needed... It's weird. One, this house is really weird. I don't know if you looked at the background at all, but Katie's in the kitchen, and then there are French windows that open all across in front of the sink that then goes into the living room. And I'm like, what kind of...
Maybe I didn't pay close enough attention. Oh, yeah. You know what? Now, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Because, like, she's in the kitchen, and she's, like, on the phone with her mom, and she's like, or, you know, like, all right, bye. And then the fucking TV turns on in the living room area or whatever.
And you can see it through this weird glass thing.
Yeah.
And they're windows. They're like the sliding window things for I don't know. And I didn't know if that was trying to also play homage to the Japanese version, because you see it through the glass. Because you know how at least stereotypically Japanese houses are like every room is separate. Mm-hmm. And so you have to see it through one of the doors. So.
Yeah, it makes me think of Together a little bit, where he's like in his office and then like she comes up to oh dude, that shit's yeah.
She yells at Becca, but then sees that the TV remote is on the ottoman, and it's not quite as scary anymore because TVs don't really do the TV static noise anymore.
Yeah. But
when a TV kicked on and it wasn't connected to anything, if you haven't heard it, it's god awful. It's just
it's TV static.
Yeah, like smart TVs don't do it anymore because they all have the loading screens or that kind of stuff. You don't really get static on TV anymore.
Yeah, that's because they're not CRTs. Like it's not like the little fucking individual bulbs of like the 3 colors that like it's thing. They're all fucking
pixels.
Yeah, whatever.
The thing I miss the most is like when you stick your hand on a TV and it does the thing.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyways, nostalgia. This movie is full of nostalgia for me. We're talking about a VHS tape. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to talk about it. So shuts the TV off, goes back into the kitchen, and the TV kicks back on, freaking her out. She runs up to the TV, rips the power cord out, stares into the reflection of the TV.
And you see like a form of something invisible kind of like move from behind her.
It's like when you have an invisibility effect on a video game and it like moves with the background.
Yeah, it's like the shimmer or like the weird lighting thing that just kind of like moves behind her and it freaks her out. She starts calling out for Becca again, right?
Yeah.
And then like she goes like towards the stairs.
And then calls for Becca again and Becca's not answering. So at this point, where's Becca? Why isn't she coming down when her friend is yelling bloody murder for her? She walks up the stairs and
there's water coming out
of her bedroom.
Underneath her bedroom door out into the hallway.
And the doorknob is wet and you can see the flickering of a TV under the light as well. She opens it, flings the door open, makes eye contact with the TV, and you see like this flicker of something, and then you look at her eyes and they like flicker the same, like you see her iris and everything, and then you don't, they go white, and she screams, but instead of hearing her scream really, you get the TV whine, and then it cuts.
Yeah, I forgot about this, and it actually scared me. Because she like makes eye contact with the TV and then it zooms in on her eyes from the TV, like the camera's at the TV in the room essentially. It like zips towards her really fast as she screams and her face immediately turns into this like creepy, like almost like hollow cheeked, like that fucking.
But it's for such a quick.
It's so fast that like I genuinely was like, oh God. And then like I didn't have the dogs in my office with me today because the ladies were downstairs.
Yeah.
And so I was just in my office by myself, like, okay, I'm a little uncomfortable right now. Like, what the fuck?
Dude, no, I was watching this last night and my wife stayed the night here. I was watching this last night at my desk. I had the bedroom door open because I had all of the animals with me. And then the TV static where it was just like, I think I call it auditory overload at some point. This movie has so much, like the TV static, the high-pitched whines, the screams, everything is so loud. I don't know how you did it with headphones because like me.
Oh no, like, I had to turn my volume down because they, like, the whining or the static got really loud, like, way louder than the rest of the movie. And I was like, ugh, like, it actually hurt my ears. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. So that, and then it would go from like the TV static to silence, and then I would hear something. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, well, because that's jarring. Like, when your brain is being overloaded with stimuli and then you immediately remove that, your brain is like almost trying to fill in the gaps as that is taken away. So you have that like leftover buzzing in your brain for like 20 seconds, before it fades. And you're just kind of like, it's almost like being stunned a little bit. You're just like, okay, okay, now I can hear things again. I'm fine.
Yeah, it's this movie. I would not recommend listening with headphones or watching this movie with headphones. It's a lot. We cut to Aiden, who is an 8-year-old boy in his, I think, first grade, kindergarten classroom.
Yeah, he's drawing.
He's drawing a boat and a sun and, child things with a crayon, and his teacher's at her desk watching over him, and they're both really silent, just kind of, chilling. And then you just hear this woman in a very animated, loud conversation walk down the hall, and both of their heads snap, and you just they just watch the voice as it comes down the hall, and then the door opens, and she looks startled to still see the teacher there.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know, man. This issue number 1 with this woman is she's a shitty mom.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I could argue that. It's not like she's a bad mom, but she's also one of those moms that you can tell is just like career first almost, is how it feels.
And to be fair, she's a single mom, so her career means a lot when you're trying to raise a child and, make sure you have food on the table and a roof over the heads and that kind of stuff. But this is where it hits you, because Aiden packs up his stuff, and as he passes her, he says, "I'll wait in the car for you, Rachel."
Yeah. Calls
his mom Rachel, which, I mean, I've heard some families, like, their kid just hears their name as, like, little baby, and it just sticks.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
One of my favorite YouTubers, he calls his grandma Mom because that's what his mom called.
Yeah.
And then he calls his mom her name because that's what he heard everyone call his mom. So, like, yeah, it's not unheard of. It's just,
It's just uncommon.
It's one of those things where, especially, like, in the early 2000s, you would see that and be like, oh, that kid does not like his parent. Or there's some disconnect there where he does not feel like that is his loving mom. It's more of like, this is his caretaker.
Yes.
And there's a big difference there.
Yeah, because it almost, and this is like my bias, but it almost feels like like how you said, it's not his mom. Maybe it's his aunt. Maybe it's, it's a caretaker. It's not a parent. Just the way and that's how it just feels. Early 2000s mindset. And, I'm 30 now. Maybe I'm just being old about it, but it just it strikes a chord with you. The teacher then asks Rachel to stay so they can talk, and asks her to sit down. And instead of sitting in a desk like the teacher does, she sits on top of a desk in front of the teacher. So she's looking down at the teacher who's speaking to her.
I mean, that's a fucking power move if I've ever seen one.
It is. And it's what a wild
It's weird
move
to do on a first grade teacher for sure,
right,
but like.
And the teacher talks about how Aiden just lost his cousin, who is his best friend. She died 3 days ago, and the teacher is talking about how she's concerned with his drawings. He's a very independent child. However, has he talked about his feelings about all these things? And mom instantly goes in defensive, being like, or saying, you just said he's an independent child. He doesn't want to talk about these things. If he does, he knows I'm here. He can come talk to me.
This is also like drawing is his way of working through it and, like making sense of it all. And, honestly, you're listening to her being like, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. But also like, he's also like,
8.
He's 8. And so he might be trying to reach out to you in other ways, but
you're not listening.
You're not getting the whole picture. But again, it's not like she's not getting any of it. It's just like.
I think what my thing is she relies so heavily on the fact that he's an independent child for a lot of things. And as someone who was an independent child, you don't feel comfortable asking your caretaker for things because they have put this expectation on you that you're independent and you don't need help.
Yeah.
Fucking sucks.
Oh, yeah.
So seeing this play out,
I know it well.
Seeing this play out, I'm just standing here watching this like, God damn, this poor kid.
Yeah.
But the teacher pulls out the drawings and it's a woman buried underground or a girl buried underground. And Rachel says, oh, that's just his cousin. That's his way of processing things. She died 3 days ago. The teacher stops her because she's trying to leave and says, these were drawn last week.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also something I have problems with. Diverting from the original storyline. I'm going to have to cut this because we try so hard to not do spoilers at the start. It just doesn't make sense because it wasn't necessary.
No.
It was not necessary at all. You added this subplot for no reason.
It truly is a nothing burger because...
The only reason they did it is because of the ending scene.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I want to do the original. The reason we didn't do the original is because you guys didn't seem to like the obscure movies we did this month. So we're doing... Or I guess technically last month because this one comes out on the 1st. We're doing the more popular, at least in our audience of the two, is the American version.
Yeah, to be fair, we did a more obscure Japanese drama horror, and then immediately after we did one of the worst quote-unquote horror movies I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, last month was rough. We didn't really plan. I didn't think about... You viewers, when I was putting together last month's schedule, I was more like, this seems fun for us.
But also, like, I enjoyed Audition. I think it's not like avant-garde or anything, but I think it is a little bit more niche. There are some horror movies that you can just show pretty much anyone. Whereas like Audition, I think you have to be a specific type of horror fan, and you have to be a patient horror fan. Because if you're not patient, then that movie you're just going to be spent being like, this is fucking boring. Like, this is not... this is like, where's the creepy? Where's the action? But at the same time, like, that's the point. It's like it's supposed to build.
Exactly.
So
I'm all for a slow burn horror movie. And
yeah, watching the American version this morning made me want to go watch the Japanese version.
On the drive home, Rachel keeps staring in the rearview mirror at... I almost said Andy. Ooh. Aiden.
I was about to say Ambrosia. That's even worse.
Who's just drawing in the backseat, calls her out for staring at him so much, and she just shakes her head or says, it's fine, everything's fine. Bedtime, she offers to read him a story. Again, this kid being so independent just says, no thanks, I'm tired. He's such a business kid.
Mm-hmm.
We see him in a suit later, and that just fits him as he's no nonsense business.
Yep.
Hella creepy though.
Oh yeah.
I think it's the age group of kids because it's the big eyes and the small head, where it's just they stare into your soul.
It's the blank stare too, where like, you know, a kid looks at you and their mouth is relaxed, but like it's all in the eyes. You can see that their brain is going a mile a minute about, you have no fucking clue, but like there is something in their head, whether they're thinking about you or something else. It's one of those looks where you're like, are you going to be able to sleep? You look like you got a lot on your mind, kid.
Kids around this age just creep me out. I'm not looking forward to the toddler to 9-year-old.
Dude, the day my daughter like comes into my room at night and is like, I'm scared, there's a man in the corner of my room, I'm gonna be like, bitch, we leaving. Get the fuck, pack your shit, we getting out of the house.
Wrong person to tell about this.
Yeah.
Rachel gets up to leave, kind of just wishing him good night. That's not the proper phrasing, but it's not incorrect. It's just weird. Why did I say that?
Yeah, I don't know. How would you say that? Just tells him good night.
Tells him good night.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
As she's reaching the door, he comes back with, the weird kid thing of they just drop some shit on you and you have to deal with it. Where he says, we don't have a lot of time left before we die. Just monotone, straight-faced. She says he has a lot of time left. He tries to reassure him that he's 8 and he's not going to die anytime soon. And he wants to know, pretty much, Katie knew when she was going to die. And he asks his mom if she knows when he's going to die. And she kind of latches onto the fact that Katie knew she was going to die. And that's weird because how the hell did Katie know she was going to die? Or when she was going to die is what I guess I should say.
I'm also assuming that when she heard that, she was also like...
Suicide?
If she knew how she was going to die, and you knew she was going to die, then there's something fucking weird going on.
Oh.
Like, that was the first spark. But I'll just tell it when we get there.
Okay.
She says, I mean, they have
He
this
rolls
weird
over?
interaction. Yeah.
And says goodnight, Rachel.
Well, she's like, do you want a bedtime story? And he's like, no. Good night, Rachel. And then just like...
And he rolls over with his eyes open, staring at the camera. Kids in horror movies freak me out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind it when there's a creepy kid with a purpose. I feel like they're using this creepy kid as a plot device for no reason.
I genuinely think, though, there are very few kids in horror movies as creepy as the little boy from Dark Skies. You know, the fucking...
Yes.
just
That's the
like,
movie. That's the movie
the
we're talking about. Yeah.
Sandman. You're like, oh, okay.
Should I just give the Sandman my eyes?
Yeah, chill, kid. Like, fucking hell.
No, he's up there with creepy kids.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, she is struggle bussing. This is what I was talking about with she relies too much on her 8-year-old son to help her because she's screaming, not like she's yelling for him to get up. She's asking her 8-year-old son if he's seen her dress.
Yeah.
Why would your son have seen your dress?
She's like not even dressed yet, and she comes down the hall yelling his name, like asking if he's seen her dress. And she comes out to him standing in front of the mirror, already dressed in a very nice suit and tie,
tying
ready to
his
go.
tie.
And her dress is laying on the back of the couch with her shoes underneath it,
And
ready
I'm pretty
to go.
sure there was jewelry on there as well, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, like he laid out her outfit kind of thing. And no child should ever have to do this for their parent. Like, the second that a child has to parent their parent, you kill their childhood right fucking there.
And not, we'll get to dad later. Fucking talk about a bad parent. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't understand that whole situation.
No, he became his father, but worse.
Oh, God.
Not Aiden, but father, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm so angry about this kid having to be an adult. Anyways, they're going to Ruth's house, which is Katie's mom's, for a funeral service. They get inside, they're talking to people, greeting, condolences, all that kind of thing. And he just deadpan stares at the photo of Katie and lays like a carnation in front of her, just deadpan staring. And Rachel stares at him and just like pats his head a little bit and then kisses the side of his head and then walks away.
Yeah, well, she was like about to say something, and then I think she realized, like, what the fuck do you say to an 8-year-old in a time like this? You just gotta let them feel what they're feeling. And so she kind of was just like, I'm backing off.
Yeah, but
that was the vibe I got.
And that's fair, but I hard disagree because, again, we just talked about how this kid probably doesn't feel like he can talk to her at all.
Well, and that's the problem, right? Like, that's not necessarily a good standpoint to have. Like, she should be a parent in this situation. But in her head, like, he's so self-sufficient that she's like, just gonna let you work it out because I know you can.
Yeah.
And just because he can doesn't mean he should.
Yeah. And no, he can't, by the way.
And no, he can't.
He's 8.
He is a child.
She goes to find Ruth, who's in, I think, the kitchen or the living room.
She's in the kitchen.
Like, hugs her. Obviously doesn't know what to say to her. Dave is the dad, is sitting on the couch, and he's just with his fingers laced sitting on the couch. Rachel asks him how he is. He turns to look at her with the brightest, not brightest, but like the widest eyes ever and says, I'm good. How are you? And just like, homie is just going through the motions.
Dead inside.
And Ruth says that he's not sleeping. He's going through it. He's taking it really, really bad. And in the stereotypical dad way of bottling everything up and just shutting down. And Ruth is taking it very hard in the very stereotypical mom way of she's just breaking down all of the time to a point that she asks, she asks Rachel to look into Katie's death because Rachel is an investigative journalist.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what we get is you do this for a job. Go do it. Go
Can
figure
you
out.
go figure out what the fuck happened? Because the 3 different doctors couldn't tell me why my daughter's heart stopped out of nowhere.
And then we get the quick scene of Katie huddled in a closet with her face frozen in the scream right before her head falls.
That was the second jump scare
Yep.
that, like, I was like, God damn it. Okay, too early for this shit. Because it was like fucking 10 o'clock this morning. I was like, God damn, I forgot how fucking...
That scene, though, that is the perfect amount of time to show that. Because
Yes.
you don't have much time to linger on anything. It kind of just like flashes in your head.
It's enough to leave your brain with a messy, uncanny valley person in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And it like, they do that so that you don't have a clear picture, because the more unclear it is, the scarier it's going to be in your mind. And so it's very on purpose quick.
It's perfect. It's one of our, obviously, it's one of our favorite ways of showing things.
This movie does have some very good cinematography, like the lighting and the color choice. And
Did you notice that they lit every scene so no one had a shadow, apparently?
oh, interesting.
Yeah, so they were trying to give it that uncanny valley of you can't see anyone's shadow. It's just lit, like already weird that no one has shadows. And then everything is done through a green lens. Not a green lens, but like they did a green wash kind of over it to give it more of that like surreal feel.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, because it is very Seattle, like when you think of Seattle and like gray and kind of like dark and
Rainy,
you know,
and...
yeah, it is very that.
So obviously when your sister asks you to look into your dead niece's death, you don't say no to that.
Oh yeah.
Rachel walks outside where the teens are hanging out. They're talking about how someone got put in a straitjacket and booties. Rachel goes up. One of the girls is smoking. She's like, oh, thanks. Takes it, lights her own cigarette with it, and then tries to relate to the teens by being like, you know, I remember when me and my girlfriend used to sneak upstairs and like smoke the weed. And so there are 2 girls on the wall, and then there's a guy sitting on the other side. He butts in and he's like, it wasn't that. It was the tape. And there's one of these 3 kids, the one with the cigarette, is flabbergasted that these other 2 teens are telling her anything. Yeah. Every time they open their mouth, she stares at them with the most baffled expression ever. These 2 kids, I think, are just trying to work through shit, and she's still in the mindset of, these are our friends' secrets. Why are you telling a random person these things?
Yeah.
So what we learn is that Becca is the one in a straitjacket and booties in some hospital because she was there the night Katie died, and she won't talk about what happened. We learn about the tape because Josh also died, apparently committed suicide the same night Katie died. Mm-hmm. And I think those are the big ones. Big thing. Oh, we do get creepy kid stuff where Aiden goes to the stairs and you get a flash of Katie walking up the stairs. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of does the same path she did the night she died. He goes up to her door, opens the door, and then stands in front of the TV like creepy kids do, very poltergeisty, being in front of the fucking TV.
Well, and then that fucking shadow thing moves behind him again.
Yeah, the
that,
same...
like, warble, like invisible something moves behind him. And then Rachel comes in and notices him just standing in front of the TV like a fucking creeper.
The only thing, she doesn't even comment that he's standing in front of a turned off TV.
No.
Her comment is, we really shouldn't be in her room.
And his response is, it's not her room anymore.
As he leaves. And I mean, this kid.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that's depressing for like an 8-year-old to be thinking like that.
Like, she's gone.
This
isn't her space anymore.
Bruh. Whatever.
And as wont to do, the journalist snoops around everything. I guess she technically got permission to do this, so it's not as bad as some of the other movies we've seen where I kept thinking of Skeleton Key and her inability to not snoop through other people's shit.
Yeah.
So much of this movie I was like, are you the same bitch from Skeleton Key? Do you not respect other people's property? Like, shut the fuck up. You're so insensitive. What the hell? In the binder, she finds a bunch of cutout pictures of magazines. Again, very nostalgic because you didn't have a phone to keep photos on or anything like that. You cut out things from magazines. And I don't know if it was fashion or maybe whatever. They were inspirational for her, probably. It was a bunch of women. but all of their faces were scribbled out. Every
Mhm.
single one of them, which is weird. The fuck.
Yeah.
And out from the little binder sleeve, she pulls out 1 hour, or sorry, was it 1 day photo processing that has 2 little hearts next to it?
Something like that.
Which I forget was a very popular thing.
Yeah, when you got photos taken, you had to take your camera into like a store or whatever and hand it over, and then they would have to,
Process the film.
yeah, spend the next 24 hours developing your film, and you have to go back and get a physical copy, all of your photos from that camera, you know, and you could order like doubles or whatever.
Oh, you
but
always order doubles in case one was messed up. That's
Yeah.
what my grandma said because she loved to take photos. You always order doubles.
Crazy.
The thing is now, because I've done this, you can go to a CVS and you just plug your phone in and it prints right there for you. Yeah, you can just go to, I don't know if all CVSs have them, but they just have a kiosk that you can plug your phone into and just print shit off your phone.
That's fucking crazy.
So yeah, next day photo processing is wild.
Oh yeah, we'll get to the editing stuff that they use later.
Yes. Oh my god.
I was gonna say software, but they don't use software.
It's all hardware.
It's just hardware. A
She
fucking wall of hardware.
Yes. She goes to the photo place and picks up the film, is flipping through them, and it's the weekend. Obviously, this is where she dropped off her photos of the weekend trip. It's them at a cabin. It's her, Josh, and 2 other friends. They're up at cabin 12. There's a photo of the camp. It's not, I say campsite, but it's cabins. So it says, you know, whatever the mountain cabin inn is, until the last photo. Like, we get photos of them just in the woods, on the balcony, or on the porch, all this kind of stuff. One of them is sitting in front of a TV, getting it ready. The last photo is of all 4 of them in front of the cabin, but their faces are fucked. They're warbly and smushed, and you can't make out what they look like because their face is entirely gone.
Yeah.
Rachel goes to, I think she has newspapers. I think this is where she goes home and she's looking through old newspapers because that's how you had to do journalist work. It was looking through fucking newspapers. She finds Josh's obituary and how he died. He had died in a high-rise fall. So that's why everyone's saying he committed suicide, because he jumped off a building, I guess. Then she finds the other 2 who died in a car crash, and she finds out the time. Both of those sets of people died at 10 p.m. So she calls, or the next day she goes to work. At her desk, she calls up someone to look at the time of death for Katie. And while she's on hold, her boss comes over, looks at her, says, "You're fired." She says, "No, I'm not." And they go back and forth for a hot second until she looks at him and says, "I'm cooking up a hot story. I'm not fired." And then shoos him away when the person finally comes back on the line.
Yeah, such a power move, because he's like, "You're fired." She's like, "No, I'm not." And he's like, "Yeah, no, actually you are fired." And she's like, "No, actually I'm not. I'm cooking up a story that's too good for you to fire me." And he just goes, "What's the story?"
And she doesn't tell him.
She doesn't tell him. She just says shush and then shoos him away, and he fucking walks away. It is immaculate. I love this scene.
No, it's so good.
It's so, I don't even know if they needed to put the scene in necessarily, because she makes the most like basic ass revelation, but it's so good because
it's so good. She finds out that Katie also died at 10 p.m. So
yeah,
all 4 of
Katie,
these kids,
Josh, and then the other
Scott,
2,
and they didn't mention. The only reason I know Scott's name is that they showed in the newspaper. They didn't show the other girl's name, so they all died same time. Rachel drives out to the cabins.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it must pay to be a journalist, not as like monetarily, but she wanders quite often to just go do things. And I guess if, you know, that's how you had to do shit, you just got to go off. And I guess you tell your boss, "Hey, I'm fucking off and doing research."
I mean, you know, when in high school, I was in a photography class, and our job was to actually like take all the pictures for the school yearbook and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So for that class, a lot of the time, I just got to take a camera and walk around school, and just like, I think it is one of those things where it's not like she had like a fucking like ID or anything around her neck, but you know, maybe you're so used to doing it that you just like, you go in and do your thing, and if someone questions it, then you're like, "Oh, like, here you go."
Well, I don't know if she really needed like a press pass or anything. This was also in 2005. I feel like security on like press was kind of lax still then.
Yeah.
But Was it 2000? No, it's 2002. Why is this saying oh, because that was The Ring 2. Yeah, it's 2002. Because she is a very good journalist. She's a shitty mom, but a good journalist, because she goes into the cabin, it tells the receptionist who makes her do a card trick, or he's doing a card trick to her, that her niece is missing and she's a runaway, and that's why she's here. So she does really do well with the kind of placing things together and not acting like a journalist, like doing the undercover scoop type thing.
Mm-hmm.
She finds out from him that they didn't pay the tab, that those kinds of people usually don't. The TV was really loud. She catches over on the side that they have a wall of VHSs because the signal out here is really bad. They don't really get TV, so the main thing they do is rent out VHS tapes. She zones in on one that doesn't have the cover over it.
Yeah, no box, no name on the side. Like, it is the only tape on this shelf that doesn't have some sort of identification.
So she's like, you know what? I'm tired. I think I'm going to nap. Can I get room 12, please? Or cabin 12? And he hands over her American Express card. I wonder how much they paid for that.
Yeah.
He goes into the back, and she goes up to the VHS wall and stashes that in her bag. What does he say? Oh, is this your card? And she's like, yep, that's my card. It's the third card, and it's still not her card.
Yeah.
But whatever. So she goes up to cabin 12. It's exactly what you expect a creepy cabin in the woods to be.
Yeah, moss growing all over it, and just kind of like a bit older, not so disheveled that you wouldn't want to stay there, but definitely an older cabin in the foggy woods where you can tell a lot of moisture is just in the air.
Yeah. This also starts the other secondary, subplot I hate. We get a quick shot of a Japanese maple tree.
Is that what that is?
Yep. I believe, if I remember correctly, the fruits that come off of this tree are called Samara.
Jesus.
Yep. It has something to do with the name Samara and the maple tree. I don't understand this part at all.
Yeah, I don't.
This is the only scene too. Well, not the only scene, but it's one of, I think there's two scenes that get completely bathed in red. So she sits down in, cross-laid in front of the TV to put the VHS in, and it's supposed to be the light shining through the maple leaves. It makes it look like the whole side of the mountain is set on fire, is the imagery that this is supposed to be. The tape kicks on with static and then this ring of light in the center, which then cuts to a bunch of a bloody water, waves that are all really bloody. And then we get a chair and a woman cutting her hair in a picture frame, but it's actually, I thought it was a picture frame. It's a mirror, combing her hair in a mirror. And then we get our first look at Samara. You guys have fucking seen this movie. You know this is Samara. It's the iconic girl with her face covered in black hair and the raggedy white dress standing in the mirror this time. Mm-hmm. Then there's a man standing in a second-story window, and then there's a cliff edge, and then there's quick successions of maggots and something being ripped out of someone's throats, and then a nail going through someone's finger and shoving their nail off of their finger. And it's just a bunch of this kind of shit. There's a ladder. There's just quick successions of things before it cuts to static. Rachel freaks out. We get another cut of the maple tree for some reason. And then the phone rings. Mm-hmm. This is where I state the movie auditory nightmare. It's just, there's so much all the fucking time. It was real rough.
She answers the phone.
Sorry, not to hamper on this. It's the old school rotary high thrill phone that's just
it's that violent ring, that visceral metal tang against whatever it is. It's like the bell,
the analog instead of the digital.
Yeah,
it's literally a bell being rung, so it sucks
and it's loud
and obnoxious. She answers it to a little girl's voice.
You're gonna die in 7 days.
Actually, it just says 7 days.
Oh, it does just say 7 days.
Which is more and less freaky at the same time. Because you just get 7 days. What's going to happen in 7 days? You're assuming it's death. But she's only assuming that because she has this backstory.
Yeah.
What if you were the first person to watch the tape and they're like,
what is my ass going to explode in 7 days?
What happens in 7 days?
Am I going to win the lottery? Am I going to get hit by a car?
You don't know. So she runs outside and is looking around, seeing if anyone's watching her. And there's no one there.
No one there.
Back home, We're on day 1 of Thursday.
Yeah.
Aiden has to make his own PB&J. It might not actually even be a PB&J. It might just be a PB.
Yeah.
He walks himself to school. It's raining. He just calls out to Rachel, "I'm leaving. Goodbye." And her door is closed. Doesn't even wish him off. To be fair, she's spiraling about her impending doom in her bedroom. But still, like, your 8-year-old child is walking to school and you're not even going to see him off at all.
Yeah, it's a choice.
He almost runs straight into this guy. And he has to look up at him, moving his umbrella. They just stare at each other for a hot second before Aiden just walks around him. And you're like, okay, that's not creepy at all. She ends up going to her ex-husband. No, he comes to her place. Sorry.
Yeah.
Her ex-husband, Noah, comes to the apartment where she tells him about this tape and everything that's been happening. And like every man in every horror movie, he's like, you think they died because of a tape? Get real. Like, have you been sleeping? Are you working yourself too hard? Ooh. He's just every man in every horror movie. She tells him 4 kids are dead. Just freaking watch the tape. So he's like, all right, fine. Like, I'll sit down. He puts in the tape. She goes out to the balcony, is watching everyone else's day happen she's in a high-rise apartment pretty much. So she's looking into other people's apartments and seeing their days progress with the TV on. And
everyone's watching TV.
Everyone's watching TV. And this is supposed to be like a little Easter egg, a little nod to Rear View Window.
Never seen it.
It's a Hitchcock film. You've seen Disturbia.
Yes.
The original Disturbia.
Ooh.
A guy breaks his leg and he lives in an apartment complex. It's all filmed on one set. It's him doing the Disturbia shit, just with a broken leg instead of being on house arrest. And so there's a guy with a broken leg eating his little dinner in front of a TV, and it's supposed to be like a little nod to the Hitchcock film.
I don't know why I always think of Attack the Block.
I've never seen Attack the Block.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I heard it's good.
It's so much fun. It's like, it feels like a classic to me at this point.
So Noah walks out and says, yeah, that's really student film, whatever. It's not great. And then he tries to placate her by saying, oh no, I'm sure it was super scary when you were all by yourself in the middle of the night. And the phone rings. And she face falls, stares at him, and he asks if she's gonna get it. They both walk into the apartment and she just lets it ring. She does not answer that fucking phone.
Yep. He then tells her that, he's like, give me a copy of the tape and I will essentially try to trace where this came from. Because like back then on VHS tapes, you could essentially tell how it was recorded, whether it was like a camcorder or if it was like something else. He's essentially like, make a copy for me so that I can do a little bit of digging.
He's an asshole this entire time, though.
Yeah. Well, and then he leaves and she walks up to the phone and it shows that there's one new message on it and she just ends up deleting it. Which, fair.
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, fuck you. But my other thought was like, what if that was someone important? And you just like missed the call?
Yeah. I mean, what if something happened to your kid? Who knows? You don't.
Yeah. Where is your kid right now? School? What if the school's calling?
Yeah.
It's okay. I get it because like...
No, you don't want to hear it. But I wonder what the voice message would even be. Would it just be 7 days? Like, would it just be the same voice or would it be all garbly? We don't
Dumb bitch, answer your phone. Pick it up next time.
Just picturing the ghost face mask with the tongue out.
Sorry.
We've talked about scary movies so many times the last few episodes. She goes to work and goes into a room where she can make a copy of the tape. It's literally like a desk, 2 copy tapes. It's a very odd room. I didn't know what to call it, like the control panel, I guess, for it, where it shows each tape's timestamps go haywire as she's recording it. It's not even showing numbers. It's just lighting up random strips on what the hell is that called? The
digital screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, where it's showing you the timestamp instead of being like showing 1 second and then the milliseconds and like counting up. It's just freaking out, showing indiscernible shapes.
Yes. And she pauses it and tries to like rewind and refocus it. And it's not working. And she stops on, there's a section, like a mini part of the film that is a tree on a cliff with a fly on it. And she stops and is like staring at this fly and then pokes it. on the screen to make sure
because the fly like literally twitches.
Yeah, it's
like
twitching.
She pauses, and it's not like it's twitching, like vibrating, where the image is kind of like trying to correct itself to stay in one place. The fly's wing literally like twitches.
Oh yeah.
Just for like the littlest iota, and you're kind of like, did I just see that? Or is that like they make it so quick, you're like,
yeah,
did that just happen?
So she touches it, and it's a fake fly.
And you just hear the static come off of the TV screen.
Then we get day 2, Friday. Noah talks about the timestamps and numbers and is really upset. He's like, are you sure this is a copy? And she's like, yeah, why? And he's like, the timestamp is all blah, blah, blah. And if it was a copy, he goes off on a whole bunch of jargon that I can't even follow about videotapes.
He essentially explains that digital footprint I mentioned, where you can kind of trace to see how a VHS was recorded, or like, you know, getting any sort of defining information like that. He's essentially saying that this tape doesn't have any of that, which doesn't make sense, because that's like being born without fingerprints.
Yep.
That's like being born without having your identifying features, essentially. And that doesn't happen. Like,
yeah, that's
videos that trace is always going to be there. And so he's like, what the fuck is this?
So he pretty much says he can't trace it the way he thought he was going to be able to trace it. So instead they kind of go frame by frame. And then on one frame, they notice there's kind of an extension. There's more to the scene than you actually, where it cuts, right?
Is this where they're at Noah's place by now? I think they're at Noah's place.
Yes, I'm sorry. I should have said that. On Friday, they're doing all of this at Noah's apartment, his flat. It's like,
it's one of those lofts where you have like the fucking dingy ass elevator that like goes up and,
yeah.
You know, it's like a
studio
it's a bit
space.
more of a studio, yeah, where, you know,
it's
lifted part of the floor, and it's just
a giant open concept of an entire floor is now an apartment, but he's also a photographer, so it's kind of also a studio type thing.
Messy artist studio is the vibe.
Yes. Have you ever seen, this is a little off topic, have you seen St. Elmo's Fire?
Mm-mm.
Classic 90s film.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It's really, really good. I didn't think I was going to like it. I super liked it. They also have like a weird flat in that movie, so that's why I thought of it.
I always just think of the loft from New Girl. You haven't watched New Girl, have you?
I've only seen clips.
It's so good.
I know, it's one of your favorites. So yeah, he explains how this works, and one, my subtitles were a minute off, so I had to turn them off. So I didn't have subtitles, and I was playing off of my laptop speakers because, like I said, this is an auditory nightmare. I was not watching it with headphones. So some parts of this movie, I lose dialogue. So he's explaining how for film, there's like an extended viewpoint that you can kind of like pull into screen to see. Mm-hmm. And he has this little turn wheel that he can do it. And this fucking bitch, man, I don't say... That sounds really sexist and terrible, but this...
she does the typical, like, no, hold on, you're not doing it right, and then, like, trying to take over while he's in the middle of doing it, and then just exacerbating the problem by stressing the system, and then as it's, like, stretching and getting almost there to where they can see out of frame, it fucking breaks because...
She forced it.
And he's like, no, don't, you're gonna break it, and she's just like, no, it's almost there, and he's like, fucking stop, like, ugh. God, you're like, dude, really? Respect the man.
You don't know what you're doing. You came to him for a reason. Let him do his fucking job.
Yeah, you're gonna break his shit, dude. Like, I'm sorry. That equipment's probably not cheap.
God, no. Especially not then. No. This was like high-end equipment. So anyways, one of the scenes, it kind of pulls out more into kind of a cliff or something, and they're trying to see what's at the end of the cliff. They get almost there when it all breaks. They have, like, it happens, and they kind of have, like, a tension break scene where they laugh a little at each other, and then instant tension goes straight up the ceiling because this random woman walks in, and he's like, oh, you can see it in his eyes that he's like, I'm caught doing something I'm not supposed to be doing, and he rolls out with his chair, and he's like, hi, Beth.
This is Rachel. She's an old friend of mine. I'm just helping her with some work.
She's a journalist, and we're working on a project. And Beth is like, okay, like, cool. I'll leave you guys to it. And like kisses his cheek. And he's sure to be like, she's a student. She's studying under me. And then like she totally kisses his cheek and walks past him. And then he can't drop it. for whatever reason. He's like, hey, like, do you want to come look at the video? And Rachel is not having it. Is like, yeah, no, I'm late. I need to leave. Grabs the VHS tape. However, did you recognize who Beth is?
Mm-mm.
Have you ever seen NCIS?
Mm-mm.
I don't know how to say her last name, but she plays Abby in NCIS. Her name is Polly Peretti, I believe. I had to dive for her name because I saw her on screen and I was like, I know who that is. I don't know if this is credited to her for this like one scene. I love her so much, and it was wild to see her in just a random fucking movie. I love it when like big name actors show up in small bits of other film from the past.
100%.
But
they had that with they've gotten essentially the entire cast of Supernatural to fucking be in The Boys.
Really?
Like Sam, Dean, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the dude who plays their dad in Supernatural, even Castiel, he fucking shows up. But I love when they do stuff like that. Anyways.
So as he walks, she leaves, right? So Noah follows her out, walking her to the elevator, and he says something about, oh, you're angry. He gets so insufferable here. I get so, like, no wonder you guys didn't fucking work out, you piece of shit. Like, grow the fuck up. She literally just, like, lists out every single, the beats of their fights, it seems. Like, you're gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this, and then this, and this, and then we're both gonna have regrets, and everything's gonna be terrible, and then we're gonna walk away angry. So let's just skip to the part where I walk away angry. And she shuts the elevator and goes down. Mm-hmm. Good for her. Mm-hmm. She walks out of the building and walks right under a wooden ladder leaned up against the building, very much like we've seen the tape. It even like the movie flashes to the scene she's thinking of with it. Mm-hmm. And it's weird because it's one of those very, very long wooden ladders. It's not like an A-frame ladder or a metal ladder. And I feel like those are super uncommon to see. Mm-hmm. And she goes to climb it. What?
Yeah.
And then the guy who's working with his ladder is like, watch it, miss.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
And I just, I don't know. Recently, I read like 2 books where literally they said what white people bullshit is this. One was set in the Bronx. The core group of friends was like, I think it was like 4 black people, Hispanic, and then I think she was Hindi. And so it was everyone who wasn't white, and they went to a white person party, and the white guy pulled out a Ouija board, and they're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And so I'm just over here like, yeah, that has really entered the forefront of my vocabulary of, yeah, that's really some white people bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. Except when, you're in a fucking horror movie.
And I read this one time where it was like, you have to remember that the people you're watching or reading about don't know the genre they're in. But she does, because she knows she's going to die. This isn't like a normal horror. I don't want to say normal horror movie, but it's not just like, oh, they don't know what's happening yet. She's literally been like, this videotape is cursed and I'm going to die in 7 days. You're in it. You know what genre you're in. So I have no excuses. I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, but it was wrong. We cut to a hospital where a nurse is walking with a patient and covering her with like a rolling sheet. Like it's a screen that rolls to give her privacy, I guess. The nurse keeps going with the screen. She stops and stares into the rec room. And the nurse is like, Becca, what you doing? And this scene is like really irrelevant except to point out that this is Becca. But we learn that in the next scene where Rachel is interviewing Becca, calling her Becca.
Yeah, especially because we also were told earlier that
Becca was
in psychiatrics because of being there that night with Katie. So like there wasn't really any reason for us to show us this.
It's just very redundant.
Yeah.
So
maybe to like give us a glimpse of like how batshit she might actually be, because like she stops and she stares into the rec room because there's a TV playing.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was gonna say. She's staring
almost like
at
in
the
a
TV.
trance, being like, "Oh fuck," or like I don't know. But again, like we could have grasped that in this next scene because Rachel is interviewing Becca, and Becca looks really rough. Like
PTSD, man.
The deepest circles under her eyes, the 1,000-yard stare. I mean, pretty spot on for what you would imagine when you have a character in a movie put into a psychiatric hospital after a traumatic event.
Oh, I did want to say this real fast. I believe the book was called The Blonde Dies First, that I was just talking about. Sorry, I was like, that's actually a really good recommendation. I should remember what that movie is.
See, that's also like
that book
such
is
a
called.
good name. Like
That book, fucking killer. I'm going off on a tangent in the middle of a sentence. I'm so sorry.
No,
The
you're
book
good.
just like kicked me in the teeth right now. It's the horror movie tropes. You have the one friend who knows everything about horror movies. You have the one friend who's like, you have all of the stereotypical tropes in the best way possible. It's again set in the Bronx. So that the setting is amazing. And then what happens, I didn't catch on until like right before you're told what's happening. It's a YA novel.
I have to read it.
Really quick read. It's also gay. Loved it.
Do you have a physical copy?
I rented it from the library.
Oh, okay.
Highly recommend getting a library card if you don't have them. They have great recommendations, and librarians are really good resources. This is why we started book club, because there's also so many good horror books and shit that like we just need to talk about. Becca doesn't answer any of the questions for a hot second. Rachel's about to give up until she says something of like, I just need to know how she died. And Becca comes back with, oh, she'll show you. You'll know. And Becca gets weird at this point and just kind of says like two other things. And then she grabs, like not roughly, but she flips over Rachel's hand that's been holding hers this entire time and lays down her thumb and says, 4 days. And then it cuts to the fucking maple tree again. I'm sick of this maple tree. They had a lot of issues with the maple tree too, because it was made from like steel piping and some other stuff. And they set it up 3 times, and all 3 times, not the first time, the second time it got blown over by 40-mile-per-hour winds, and the second time got blown over by 60-mile-per-hour winds. And like, it was trying to tell you that you don't need the maple tree, and you weren't listening.
Or just like find a hill with a tree and just don't be specific about the kind of tree. Just be like, be specific about the color of the leaves. Call them maple leaves, because then people will be like, oh, you're calling it that because it's like the color of the red and like whatever. But you had to be fucking weird and specific about it.
Japanese maple tree because something about Samara. Yeah.
They had to like feel like they were putting an homage to the first somehow when.
How?
Well, exactly.
Because it's a Japanese tree? Is that it?
They put in some fucking cut this, but it wasn't a good way to do it. It was just like, all right, dude, fucking, that's what you really want to do.
Yeah, I don't understand.
We don't live in a different dimension where that doesn't exist in this movie. That movie will always have that, so we'll just deal with it. Weird choice, bro.
That's literally not a lot. Some of the stuff in this movie, I'm like, that's a weird choice, bro.
I'd say like 30%.
Yeah.
The other 70% is pretty solid horror movie. Like it's not bad, but of course when you try to do an American original or an American remake of a Japanese or even any kind of foreign original, probably not going to be as good. So
No. I always think of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
I haven't seen either of those movies.
The Swedish version hits hard.
That's what I've heard.
And then
I've
you
heard
watch
it
the
fucking
American
slaps.
version. The American version is sanitized compared to... I'm not saying like the American version's bad, but comparatively, holy fuck.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Rachel goes to... I call it an archivist. I don't know if that's technically right, but it's a place where you can look at videotapes or copy videotapes or make photos of videotapes. So I called it an archivist. Maybe this kind of thing was more common back with VHSs were more common. I don't know.
I think that's the best term for it.
The person who runs the place is giving Rachel the rundown of how everything works, blah, blah, blah. This is what we usually see. She takes her to a section to look over the tape and then asks her what we're looking at. And Rachel just kicks her to the curb hard. It's just like, nah, I'm good, mate. And she's not happy about it. She's like, all right, pretty much like, fuck you too. Walks away. She puts the tape in. It's good. Girl, you don't know how to work this shit. So she puts it in, right? And we're again talking about on the edge of the screen, you can see this kind of cut in the film. And so you're able to move it over just enough to kind of look at the whole image, right? She cranks it. She's pretty slow about it at first, kind of going a little bit. And then she gets to a point where she's just like, no. And cranks it all the way literally to 500. And then holds it and is trying to shove it into the little dial, shove it into the little thing more. until it finally gives in. And I'm like, I don't think that's how that works. I think it only goes over so far. Like, I think
This is also crazy because when the image goes over, it shows like the edge of this cliff, and then all of a sudden a lighthouse appears at the edge of the cliff, but not as if the lighthouse comes into view along with the edge of the cliff in the stretched out part of the video. The lighthouse just appears out of thin air.
A fin air.
Jesus.
A film air.
It's very weird.
It's a weird choice again.
Because you'd think that like she would just pull the video over and stretch it to see, and then like it would stretch over, the lighthouse would come into view, but it just like materializes out of thin air.
Maybe it's just that's supposed to be part of the supernatural aspect. She goes to try and take a picture of it because like you can hit a print button and it'll print what's on screen and the whole thing goes black. And then she hits the call button to call the person over, but the call person does not like her because she was, to be fair, Rachel was saving this woman from watching the tape.
Yeah.
However, the woman sees it as, wow, you're a fucking asshole. Honestly, just tell her you were watching porn or something. Just be like, hey, like I'm on, you don't gotta be an asshole.
This is my husband and I's sex tape. Like, I'd appreciate it if you just left the room. Thank you.
Yeah, you could have been nicer about it, but whatever. She inches back the tape. She like gets the tape back on, inches it back and forth, until she finds the fly again. And this time, you definitely see it move. And she goes up to it and is able to pinch it off of the screen and hold it in her little fingies as her nose starts bleeding.
Yeah.
And this is where the worker comes back and is like, do you need something, miss? And she's like, oh, ooh, you got something going on. She's like, can I tell you this is my biggest pet peeve when it comes to bloody noses in horror movies and movies across the board? I get bloody noses a lot. Mm-hmm. You fucking feel that shit. It isn't just like it starts and you don't feel it. You can feel shit coming out of your nose, especially as soon as it hits the rim of your nose and that stuff starts coming down, like your Cupid's bow down to your lip. You feel it.
Well, and there are movies where people notice it immediately. You know, like their nose will start bleeding and they'll be like, oh, like put their hand up to their nose and stuff. My only thought for Rachel in this moment is she just pulled a virtual fly out of a TV. So, at least in my brain, I'd be a little bit dissociative on the rest of everything else.
That's
in
fair.
reality.
Yeah.
Because I just yanked a fly out of my television screen. But then, like the other thing too is like she doesn't get startled, but she's like, the lady comes down and is like, you good? And she's like, what? As if she's almost like in that dissociative state because she just pulled the fly out of the screen.
That's fair. I think I've just seen it so many times in movies where they don't recognize that their nose is bleeding.
Until someone else points it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have also seen the opposite where like their nose will start bleeding and they'll be like, oh God, We
get Sunday, day 4.
Sunday.
Rachel goes to the library. Fuck yeah. Maybe that's why we've been talking so much about books. She is looking for a photo of a lighthouse that matches the photo she has. And could you imagine having to sift through books, hoping that there is a photo taken from the same angle you have to match this lighthouse to match your photo to another photo?
Yeah, y'all kids out there with your reverse Google image searching. Imagine a time when you had to drive to the library, look through shelves upon shelves of books to find maybe 2 or 3 books specifically on what you're researching. And then you have to sift through those books and hope that they even have the information that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. And then to cross-reference those with other books and, shit, even when I was a kid, like you'd go to the library and they had computers, but Google wasn't that refined. You could search shit, but you couldn't reverse image search. You couldn't
No, I mostly used the computers at the library to search the book I needed to figure out where it was.
Library computers to play RuneScape.
No, that's also fair. So she does end up finding a lighthouse at a very similar angle to what she has, and she's able to match it and find Mexico Island, I think is how it was pronounced. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Moesko.
Moscow?
Moscow Island? That makes more sense than Mexico.
Moscow?
God, this... Doing this, she finds the photo of Anna, who is the woman brushing her hair in the tapes.
Yeah.
Because of the lighthouse, she found Morgan Farms, which she finds Anna, and Anna is a horse breeder, and from that she finds out that the horses have killed themselves and they don't know what's going on because they keep escaping and drowning.
Yeah.
A long-ass fucking deep dive later, and archives and things, and she's scanning newspapers, she finds out that Anna had also killed herself.
Mm-hmm.
And as she's taking notes, like she's on her left side, she's like flipping through things, taking notes. And on her right side, she's writing down notes. And she gets to a point where she stops and she says something here that like jolts herself like, what the hell is that? She looks down and she's been scribbling out Anna's face this entire time.
Yeah, on one of the newspaper articles.
So Noah gets told he is going to die from a store clerk. He is in like a gas station and it's...
Well, he orders he's buying some things and then he asks for a pack of cigarettes and she just looks at him and goes, "You're going to die." And it's very ominous because you know what's happening. But then she's like, "My sister used the patch and she's never looked back." And you're realizing that she's just making commentary about him smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
But this is fucking creepy because he looks up at the security camera. Like, you know how they used to have like the TVs in the corner of the store where like you could just see like what the camera was viewing.
Yeah.
He looks up and he sees himself standing at the counter, but his face is all fucked up and distorted like Rachel's face was in all the pictures that she was showing him in the beginning. Waves his hand in front of his face and it gets all weird and staticky. And like the store clerk's face is fine. Mm-hmm. The other customers' faces are fine.
Oh, his and the store clerk notices him being weird and like also starts watching the tape with him.
Yeah, his face is the only one that's fucked up. And so he just kind of freaks out a little, then walks out the store.
And it cuts to Rachel scaring the shit out of her babysitter.
Oh, yeah.
Her babysitter has fallen asleep watching TV, and she comes up behind her. She's sitting in like a lazy boy, had fallen asleep. She comes up behind her and grabs her shoulder to wake her up. And I was trying to recognize this actress, too, and I ran out of time searching on who it was. But
what a way to wake someone up.
Yeah.
Walk up behind them and just... Yeah! Grab their shoulder. If I did that, I'd get punched in the nose.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who I did it to. Anyone in my life I did it to.
I don't know if we could reach you.
That's fair. At least, like, yeah, maybe you wouldn't. You'd maybe try, but...
I'd probably try. I kicked someone in the face one time because they grabbed my ankle while I was sleeping.
Yeah, well, you know...
But that's like a good, like, whah!
It's okay. My first thought when we're sleeping in the same place is not to just wake you up, so...
Takes a while. I'm like I always call myself dial-up. It's just the loading screen, so it's like resting bitch face until I've had my coffee, and then I like wake up and you hear the starting sound, and then it's like, okay, now I gotta wait for Microsoft Edge to open, and just like...
I'm like Wally when he forgets to charge, and like he's gotta like really fucking... it takes his all just to get out in the sun, and then he sits out there for a little bit, and then he wakes up and he's like...
You really are Wally, because you do go outside and photosynthesize.
Yeah. I was also... Never mind. I'm not gonna... I'm fucking... Oh, God.
The babysitter, again, emphasizes how self-dependent, self-reliant Aiden is, about how he was already in bed when she was going to tell him to, and then how he read her a bedtime story. They
learned the word...
calamity?
No. It does start with a C. Same type.
Conundrum.
Yeah, that was it.
Learned the word conundrum. She ends up calling her sister to watch Aiden for 2 days, and as she's on the phone with her, she like drinks this glass of water and then instantly starts choking, and she starts pulling something out of her throat, and it looks like hair. And so I instantly had flashbacks back to the other 2 movies where someone chokes on hair and has to pull it out of their throat. 3 movies. Oh.
I always just think of Together, because that one's scarring.
See, that one wasn't bad for me.
Really?
It's
the wide eyes and all of the hair just getting like mechanically driven down his throat.
Well, it was attached to something. You think of like It
wasn't attached to anything.
Her hair was attached to her head.
Well, yeah, but
In the other two movies, it was just clumps of hair they had to pull out, along with this one as well. It wasn't. It turns out it's not hair, but it goes on forever. This is the longest string in fucking existence. That's why it reminded me of hair, because it has like particles on it, like string. And she finally pulls it out, and it's a fucking bathtub plug.
It's not a bathtub plug.
What is it?
It's like one of those electrical stickers connected to a wire that you put on a I
thought it was a bathtub plug.
No.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. I was going to say, does that make more sense?
I was like, how the fuck did you pull that out of her throat? That makes more sense of how she could get that out.
Yeah. Because it's just a little, because the end pieces are
very
usually
flexible.
just like, yeah. I think they're like rubber half the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
so she's
fucking nasty.
She's like dying, coughing, and her sister's on the phone being like, is this about Katie? And then that line gets cut. She goes to pick up the phone, tries to talk to her sister again, and then water comes out of the little holes of the phone. You're like, oh, well, that shot.
Mm-hmm.
She then goes to check on Aiden, whose door is cracked, and as she like opens it fully, there is it's Samara, sitting in a chair, surrounded by a pool of water, and when she goes up to talk to her, touch her, her arm gets grabbed, gets freaking branded, just like burns. And you get quick flashes of Samara in like a hospital and some weird scenes, and then she like sits up and she was in bed. And you're like, how much of that was real?
Rachel. And then she looks down at her arm and she has this bruised, burned handprint on her left arm, like a full ass handprint.
Where Samara had grabbed her in the dream thing.
Yeah.
Ooh. She finds Aiden watching the tape.
She goes in to actually check on Aiden. He's not in his bed. So she goes out and she walks out into like the living space and looks in towards her like office or whatever.
Like an office
whatever
or
has
a
her
den.
TV.
Yeah.
And he is sitting on the floor at the very end of the video.
She covers his eyes still.
Well, so this is the last time we watched the video. It ends on this shot of this well, and then it just goes to static. When Aiden's watching it, we come in on him looking at the well, and then you see two hands start to creep out of the well, and then it cuts to static. And you're like, oh, what the fuck? And yeah, Rachel panics. She runs up, like covers his eyes, starts crying, and she's like, why would you do that? And he's like, I couldn't sleep. I'm sorry, bro. As a parent, it is your job to keep this kind of shit out of your children's reach. It doesn't matter if it's in your office where it's like a no-go zone. Either make sure your office door is locked or make sure that tape is in a place in your office that is inaccessible to the fucking child.
Sinister.
It's not that hard.
We talked about this with Sinister.
It's not that hard.
We talked about this with... There was another movie... Oh, fuck.
You have one job as a parent.
Don't let your kids watch it.
That's your job.
Be a parent? No, it pisses me off because then she gets really fucking... is this when she throws the tape?
Yeah.
She throws it under the couch.
Yeah.
And the phone rings. She picks it up and slams it down. It rings again. She picks it up and says, leave him alone. And she's like bawling her eyes out.
And it's Noah.
Who's like,
I need to talk to you.
I believe you.
I believe you. Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, you finally believe her? Great. That's
Which,
awesome.
This is the worst time to reinforce that all of this is real.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I know that I love that the director did it that way because that really just like...
sinks it in for her.
That sinks it in, and then it takes your dread as a watcher from like a 6, maybe a 7, up to like a 9.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're like, oh, fuck. You see it in her face, too, where she's kind of like, fuck. Okay, now it's really real because you're in the shit, too.
Yeah, it does cut to Noah driving, too, and he has a stack of photos of his face just being fucked.
Oh, God. It's so, like, again, the remake will never be as good as the original, but I actually do really like this movie. As an adult, few movies freak me out like this movie still does, you know, and I don't know if that's just because of the lingering, what's the word? Nostalgia from watching it when I was younger, but I also didn't watch it when I was like as young as when I watched like Signs or, you know, things like that.
I feel like I was like maybe a preteen, early teen years when I watched this.
See, I know like it came out when I was younger, but I didn't watch it until I was a little older.
Yeah, because it came out in 2002. I hope you didn't watch it then.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I didn't even watch it until I was maybe fresh out of high school.
Gotcha.
but it still like freaks me the fuck out. It's fucking freaky.
This for me kind of is less anxious because it's all VHS, right?
Yeah.
Because I guess technically if it would go on now, everyone would die. Or like no one gets to watch the tape because no one has a VHS player anymore. Or whoever does get to see it just dies because what are you gonna do? No one can copy a VHS. Like,
yeah. Well, and that, I thought about this when I was watching The Ring today. I'm pretty sure this was the first moment, at least for me, that I can recognize where someone used the concept of being cursed as a bit of like, almost like being infected. Or, like the curse being like a virus almost that's spread, as people like pass it along to other people in a way. Like it just,
I would say, yeah, I think I agree with you.
It's a bit loose, but it's definitely like, I'm saying like a lot. When you think of movies with that framing, you think of It Follows.
Smile.
Or Smile, because they're passed on through something specific. Fucking It Follows was an STD.
Yeah.
But like, which was crazy in and of itself. It was kind of interesting that they loosely portray it that way, as like, this VHS is, it infects whoever watches it. And then, I don't know.
So we get on to Tuesday, day 6. They're sitting in the car. Noah, Rachel, and Aiden were in the car. Rachel's in the house, Ruth's house. So it's Aiden and Noah in the car. And Aiden just looks at Noah and says, "I've seen you around taking photos of me at the playground." And he's like, "Yeah?" He says something. Noah asks if he wants him around more, and he says, "No. Do you want to be around more?" And he's like, "No, we were really young. Like, I don't think I'd be a good father, probably because my dad was a really bad dad, so I just don't want to put that on anyone else." And Aiden's just staring at him this whole time like, "You're a really bad dad already." Yeah. Like, you became he's just...
This 8-year-old is looking at him like, that's a crazy excuse. Which, it is a fucking crazy excuse. Oh, your dad was like that, so you're not going to be any better? Your dad being like that gives you that should spark a drive in you to not be like that.
Yeah, instead you're probably worse because you're not even around, but he knows you exist and he knows you live in the same town, and now you're just refusing to see him. Yeah. Except take pictures of him on the playground, which is weird. You weirdo.
This movie came out in 2002, but like in 2026, everyone would just be like, "That man's a pedophile.
Get him.
Get him."
So Rachel is up in Katie's bedroom looking through stuff again, she's just trying to find like anything that could tip her off somewhere. I think she sees some drawings, and then she sees, the circle drawn multiple times. They then pull Aiden out of the car, send him off to Ruth's for the next 2 days so they can go up to the lighthouse situation. I forgot to mention, the only time Aiden calls Rachel mom is in front of Noah. Because he says something about Rachel and he's like, "Mom, blah, blah, blah." Like, it's the only time we hear him call Rachel mom is in front of Noah.
Which is what a smart little fucking kid. Because, and I do not mean this in a bad way at all, that manipulation tactic for an 8-year-old is top tier.
Like, I might call her Rachel when you're not around, but
like,
you guys are on different respect levels.
Yeah, and also, like, it doesn't matter how our relationship is, like, there's an established thing here, and you're gonna recognize that, like,
she's mom and you're...
Holy fuck. Yeah.
No, it's really good. On their drive, Rachel explains all of the shit she found out about Anna, the suicide, the kind of two sides of her life, like the first chunk of her life where she had everything going for her, all of this stuff. She became a horse breeder, got a husband, blah, blah, blah. And then there's like a stark line of something happening, of her going to a psychiatric hospital and really bad, dark thoughts happening, and then leading up to her suicide. She explains, Noah's like, "Okay, well, let's go to the ranch together," because they're going to split up. Someone's going to go to the lighthouse, which is where the Morgan ranch is, and someone's going to go to the hospital. Noah does not like that plan. He's like, "We should both go to the ranch together, or go to the lighthouse together." And she counters that with, "I'm going to die. I have one more day. We do not have the time to spare for you to follow me. I need you to go to the hospital for me. So they split up. They have this weird little like goodbye interaction as she gets on a ferry, and he's like, oh no, she forgot the drawing that Aiden made for her. I better run out and give it to her. And on it, it does say mom, which is really cute. So they have this like stare off in the rain for a second, handing off this drawing before they each go their own separate ways. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Why not? So this is something I've noticed too. We talk about like in non-American movies, we talk about scenes and we're like, wow, that scene is so long. But I feel like every time we have an American movie, we're like, why was that scene even there?
Yeah, that's the thing is it's almost like we took scenes and made them shorter, but we still wanted to express enough or explain enough that we needed to, add extra scenes to make up for it. Like that sounds so fucking ridiculous, but that's the only thing that comes to mind. Because like, I almost wonder if it all just comes back to, watcher comprehension and, we talk about it all the time, media literacy.
Yeah, but this
and
was
like,
'02. Like,
maybe some directors just, I don't know. Maybe in film school, they tell you that you need to hit these certain beats in order to make sure that a viewer has this, and this during their viewing experience, whatever. And then some directors take that so to heart that they fucking do it by the book. And then it becomes the stereotypical way of filming. And, I don't know.
Oh, you're probably right. It's just, again, it's weird.
It's silly.
Because
silly.
There was already a whole thing about Aiden making the drawing for her and her taking it. We already had the establishing scene. We didn't need another establishing scene to make sure we knew she had the drawing.
Yeah.
On the boat, this is where Rachel finds out mentions of Anna's daughter, and she's like, a daughter? This is the first time I'm hearing about a daughter. And this woman goes up to a horse trailer.
On this ferry.
And decides, I'm gonna pet a horse I don't know, who does not know me. Y'all, what? Man.
Yeah, seahorse must pet horse.
The same respect level as a dog. You ask. You don't go up to random people's animals. Like, you don't fucking know. You don't know if that was a rescue horse. You don't know what kind of trauma that horse has. Also, it's a fucking horse, man. Those things are... Horses freak me out. I'm on a different level when it comes to horses.
They're extremely formidable.
They're
animals.
Scary animals, and they're considered prey animals, and I don't like that.
I mean, dude, man versus horse, like, it's no contest.
Yes.
And so for Rachel to walk up on this ferry on a very dingy, dark, rainy day, and to go up and pet it, especially when you also know that whatever fucking curse you have has also, like, fucked with this family and all of their horses. After finding this out, your next thought is to, oh, horse, oh, it's so cute, let me go pet it. She goes to pet it, and of course this thing realizes something's up and freaks the fuck out, rips its, like, the rope that's attached to its reins are attached to, like, this metal clip or like a hook or ring in the truck or in the back of this trailer. It rips that fucking rope off the ring and starts thrashing around the trailer. It starts like kicking dents in the walls.
It kicks off the back trailer gate.
It kicks the fucking gate off of the door of this trailer off and runs out and stands on top of this car and fucking whinnies back and like rears back and neighs.
Does laps around the fucking boat going crazy.
It starts sprinting around the boat as like all these workers start trying to like rally it and fucking corral it. But they're doing it in the most...
They don't know horses. Way.
Yeah, because they're just yelling at it and like fucking as if they're trying to ward off a bear, fucking make themselves look big, and it's just scaring the horse. So it takes a beeline down this hall and jumps over these fishing traps, starts running straight towards Rachel, who
ducks.
Is like clambering backwards towards the edge of the boat, and this horse sprints at her, jumps over her, doesn't clear the railing of the boat and clips its back legs, so it kind of like slaps into the side of the boat, falls off into the water, and then like
Is trying desperately to swim against the current of
comes
the
up,
of the boat.
gets slapped against the boat a couple times. The horse gets pulled down under. This giant crowd of people, including Rachel, rush to the back of the boat.
And the owner of the horse, who is like a teen girl.
And this girl who's like, "Daddy, my horse." They all run to the back of the boat, and they're just like waiting for something to come up. And then after maybe like 10 seconds of nothing, it's just a whole lot of red that starts coming up from under the boat. And the little girl lets out a blood-curdling scream. This is also the same imagery of that red water that we saw
in the tape.
And you're like, oh my fucking God. And then it does this sweeping, or not a sweeping, but it does this back shot of the ferry as it like takes this turn as it's coming up to this island. And then for literally like half a millisecond, it flashes the ring. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I thought that my eyes were just like, if you blinked, you missed it, because it is so quick, but it's just like, beep, like there and gone. But you see like the ring in the middle of the screen, like right after that scene. And I was just like, holy fuck.
Shit.
Then we have Noah in the hospital.
God, Noah's an idiot. He goes straight up to the nurse behind the counter and is like, "Hey, I need Anna Morgan's medical records." And she's like, "Cool, you family?" And he's like, "No, but she's dead, so like I don't think she'll matter. Like she'll care." And this nurse just looks at him like, "We're a psychiatric hospital?
That's private information. Like,
no,
that's not how that works."
And he's like, "Look, I've seen it. I've been up there before." And the other nurse is like, "Yeah, dumb shit. It's downstairs. Get the fuck out." And so the next scene is him breaking into the basement to get to the records room.
Which, to be fair, smart of him to be like, "Oh, I've been up there." To have them be like, "You're a fucking idiot. That's not where it is. It's here." So that he can be like, "Okay, well, now I know where it is. So fuck you."
Yeah, he breaks in and starts walking down this hallway corridor thing and catches a door that has a fly on the top corner and is instantly drawn into this room, and it is the records room. I
think it's the same fly.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the fly from the video.
It's got a lot of fly imagery. We have a lot of flies. We
also didn't mention that in the tape of The Ring, there's also a point where like there's just a fucking gross ass centipede and shit.
Oh yeah, there's the gross centipede. It's in the flashes with the maggots and everything.
The part with the maggots though, it goes from this like giant pile of maggots to the maggots are now people. What you'd picture an amalgamation of people in a pit in hell crawling over each other and like clamoring over each other. It's fucking cool, but it's also like really creepy. It's like some Dante's Inferno type shit.
Oh yeah, the transition into it is so smooth.
It's seamless because it's like these maggots that are like squirmy and gross, and then it just like they kind of shift to gray, and then they kind of like all of a sudden have hands and fingers and heads, and you're like, what the fuck?
I love that part so much.
It's fucking creepy. Like I remember when I was watching it, I just like, because I was alone in my office, I just felt uncomfortable and was like, I'm just going to take one headphone off for a second because, like, I just need to make sure that my office is safe. It's like, ugh.
Back at the Morgan Ranch, Rachel shows up. She knocks on the door. No one answers. She looks around, snoops around again, like skeleton key, just walks around until she finds someone. And there is Mr. Morgan, who is fixing a fence. She coerces him into talking about the horses. He's like, "Oh yeah, a journalist pops up every once in a while about blah blah blah, and so what are you actually writing about?" And she brings up his daughter. Like, I thought you were a journalist. Where the fuck is your tact about like easing someone into a goddamn conversation? And he's like, "I don't have a fucking daughter," and instantly is like, "Nope, get the fuck out. I don't care what you're writing about. You're dragging people's shit that's better left buried, blah, blah, blah," like, and kicks her the fuck out. Not having it.
Yeah, the way he explains it is very interesting because he's like, you take other people's misery and you put it out for everyone in the world to experience and you spread it like a virus. That's a very good way of putting it, because genuinely that's how I feel about most journalism nowadays. It's just capitalizing on other people's misfortune and spreading it as much as you can to get as much money out of it and as many views as you can. Like, that's all it is. And the fact that that was relevant back then and it's only gotten worse is just like,
it sucks.
Fucking wild.
We did also forget to mention, while she was walking around the property, she did see the second floor window that we see a man standing in on the tape as well.
Yeah.
She gets the door slammed in her face. She walks around the property again and sees a rope swing, like a rope swing on a tree. She pulls out the drawing Aiden did, and it's of this house with the tree. And then it's her and Aiden and Samara, and then like a chimney. She like zones in on the top of this house and how it's like colored in red. Then it cuts to Noah, who finally finds the records. He's going through them. We see a full page of kanji and katakana and hiragana. I think it's hiragana and kanji, actually. It's so quick.
Just a bunch of Japanese writing and then Anna's name in the middle of it.
Yep. And then he's like flipping through records and it's talking about 66 miscarriages. Mm-hmm. And he drops like the files as he's looking through all this kind of stuff, and it looks like they're going to be x-rays, but when he pulls them up, they're weird like child's drawings, but like on x-ray like paper, whatever, x-ray film stuff,
imaging stuff. It's weird. But there's like a rocking horse, there's an image of some like
it's like a doll with a bunch of knives stabbed in it.
Yeah, there's like the, what do you call the ball with all the little spike, the fucking
jacks? Like the
jacks?
game?
Yeah.
Where it's like the ball and then
yes.
Yeah, jacks.
Jacks. Just like random.
Just like kid stuff besides the weird doll and the knives.
Yeah.
Aiden is destroying a crayon by just drawing a just dark deep
does
circles.
Noah get a bloody nose down in the...
Yeah, so it cuts from Noah to Aiden to Rachel in this session.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you're right.
It's fine. We can combine them if you want.
That's fine.
As Aiden's going through all this stuff, he when he finds the miscarriage paperwork, his nose starts bleeding. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what the fuck is happening? And so he takes what he can from there. Then it cuts to Aiden, who is at Ruth's house doing the with their crayon.
You hear him drawing aggressively, and it's panning over a bunch of like regular looking drawings for the most part, like some random like the sun and some random buildings maybe. And then like as it's panning over towards him, the drawings become more and more circular and more kind of black.
Just
and
using
then
the black crayon.
It pans over to him and what he's drawing, and he's just making a giant black circle on this big piece of paper.
It cuts to Aiden because Rachel calls about the drawing he gave her. And she asks why he drew, like why he's drawing what he's drawing, why he drew the house and the girl, and he's like, oh, because she told me to. She's like, okay, who the fuck told you to do this? Who told you? And he's like, she doesn't tell me, she shows me. And then I draw them. She doesn't like horses because they keep her awake at night.
She doesn't like the barn.
The barn because of the horses.
Because of the horses, they keep her awake at night. And Rachel's like, the fuck am I supposed to do with that information?
And she lives in a dark place now.
Yeah.
At this point, Rachel, after she gets off the phone with Aiden, goes to a doctor's office. Mm-hmm. And is sitting in a waiting room, and there's another boy there who's just playing with I don't know what they're called, but they're like at all doctor's offices. They're just a bunch of like squiggly squiggly metal things, and then you have wooden blocks that you like just move around on them.
Yeah, like little, I don't know. Those were like STEM toys before STEM toys were a thing.
Yeah, like probably like a motor skill type thing of just like being able to move things across different shapes.
Yeah, and maybe like, I imagine that it's subsequently something that may be used for just like to encourage like counting or maybe organizing by colors, because all the blocks are colored, and so maybe a kid will like want to try and organize them, or maybe have a certain number on this side versus so there's probably
lots of different options for those.
I mean, I would know. I played with it as much as I could at the dentist office.
I was going to say at the dentist office, yeah.
Doctor's office, wherever I fucking could. That and those find seek and find books, but like the ones that made you feel like you were in a different realm because it was just like the warm color, like the warm yellowish orange tones of like a city, but in like wooden blocks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like so cozy. Just like, there's something so, I felt like I lived in those pictures at one point. Like it was just like I had dreams about like those kind of landscapes where it was just so warm and like, I don't know.
Because you're such a sun boy. You like your sun.
But it wasn't even sunny. Like it's like it's like nighttime, you know.
But it's
like,
the warmth of it.
The
is
warm
like
of the colors, and you know.
You're very warm toned.
No, that's fair.
She gets up, like stands up with the doctor and says, the way she words it is, so you've been here like forever, right? So you know the Morgans and their daughter. I don't know what's happening, but it's because of her. And the doctor, again, I was like, God, you have no tact. But the doctor's like, wow, it's been a while since I've heard that. And the doctor takes her out back and actually explains what's happening. Is like, yeah, Anna had a really hard time getting pregnant. It didn't seem like she could get pregnant. We tried everything we could. They went away. I don't know where they went. And they came back with Samara.
Yep.
And so I think like all of the Japanese stuff is supposed to lead you to think that they went to Japan to do some weird thing.
Yeah, I don't even... To me, the way that she tells the story is it sounds like they went and like kidnapped a baby from a mom who was like maybe dying on the deathbed, or I don't know, but it sounded like...
It was supposed to be like it sounded like they went and adopted a kid. But in Anna's records, you see the birth certificate of Samara as her as the mom.
Oh, that's true.
So that's, I don't know if you see that before or after you learn that they went to a different country to.
But that would imply that, oh gosh, excuse me. That would imply that it was almost one of those, let's go to a foreign country to get some weird spiritual, like homeopathic medicine, or like.
So the Morgans went away, came back with Samara. She makes a point to be like, talk about the boy in the doctor's office was actually her son, and they don't outright say it, but I believe he's autistic. They just say he's not all there. The way they phrase it is like,
it's very early 2000s way of talking about someone with Down syndrome or autism.
Yeah, like he's just not all there, but we love him anyways, and we do everything we can to make sure he has a good life. And she phrases that in the term of Samara about how they loved her as best as they could, but they weren't ready for what she could do or how to handle her. And so she ends up recommending them to a psychiatric hospital on the mainland. And that's it. Rachel does not like that answer and is like, what do you mean? What happened to her? And like, you're her doctor. Why didn't you follow up? And the doctor says, once she left, everything got better. She makes the analogy of, if you get a cold, that's everyone's problem when you live on an island, which Rachel doesn't understand and then has to explain. If there's a problem on the island, it's everyone's problem. And if that problem is gone, everything gets better. She was not going out of her way to do anything with her once she left.
Mm-hmm.
Noah actually gets into the room. So what we didn't mention is when he dropped all of those X-ray type film things, it also on that envelope said session tape whatever, SM-0015 or something like that, and the videotape wasn't in there. So he talks his way into a video archive somewhere where the nurse is like, and you said what? That you're her father? Really? Like, what's your secret? And then they get to the end of the hallway.
He's like, diet and exercise. And then the guy's like, dude, I'm not a fucking idiot. Like, I
don't know who the fuck you are, but if anything happens to my tape, I'm not in here causing issues. He's going to let him view the tape, but he makes clear-cut guidelines of, you're not taking it. You're not doing anything fucking weird. Like, you watch
These
your
are
tape.
my tapes.
Yeah, pretty much. You watch it and get the fuck out. Well, he goes to get the tape, and the tape is gone. Noah looks at him and says, who watched it last? And it's Mr. Morgan. So he looks at Noah, who said he was Mr. Morgan, and says, You fucking did. So we don't have a tape. Noah then tries to call Rachel and cannot get a hold of her. She goes back to the Morgan Ranch. Why? Why would you do this? You've already been kicked the fuck out. He does not want to talk to you. Why are you going back? She just waltzes the fuck in.
Mm-hmm.
And starts looking around and calling for Mr. Morgan. She ends up snooping in some boxes and finds... Oh, this is where she finds Samara's birth records.
Mm-hmm.
Not Noah. She finds them. She also finds a giant-ass fucking centipede in there. Which, again, the imagery from the tape. She finds the psychiatric session and watches the tape. Poor little Samara, sitting in a white room in a chair in the middle of this room with a bunch of shit hooked up to her in her little hospital gown.
The electrodes.
Yeah, the electrodes. With a doctor filming her, asking her questions. He's asking her about the images, the things. How did she do these? And she says that she didn't make them. She just thought of them and then they're there. And he's like, don't lie to me. Like, you can't keep lying to me about this. I need to know how this happened. And I fucking hate it. Like,
She just told you, bro.
And don't get me
like,
wrong.
even if it doesn't make sense to you, like,
That's
she's telling you what she thinks is the truth.
This is the worst way to handle any type of patient being like, you're lying to me, tell me. It's not even a patient. Any child.
Yeah.
You tell a child you're lying to me, they don't trust you any longer because in their
You're
head
like,
they're
hey,
telling you.
I need you to tell me the truth. What happened? And they're like, I thought I was flying and then this monster came out of nowhere and tried to eat me. I'd be like, oh my God, that's terrifying. Well, I'm going to make sure that never happens to you again.
And I know it's like probably riding a fine line of like building hallucinations and like, you know, keeping what's real and factual. But like in this specific situation, it's just like, she's in a psychiatric hospital. You just can't fucking tell someone that they're lying to you. Like, it just, I fucking hate
there
that
is a
shit.
line between feeding into it and just kind of giving some cushion to what you say to make sure that you get through this process versus just trying to get answers. This isn't like...
Answers you think are correct.
Yeah, this isn't a fucking torture chamber, bro.
Might as well be to these fucking doctors.
Well, yeah, honestly, maybe it is.
She asks to see her mom, and the doctor says she's not allowed to until...
She's there, yeah.
Until she's better, because you don't want to hurt anyone. And she says, no, I do. I'm sorry.
Yeah, which is creepy as fuck. As Rachel's watching this, you see Mr. Morgan walk in behind her.
Watching her watch it?
Yeah.
For the last little chunk, which is Samara talking about how her daddy just wants to keep her locked in here and how he'll never bring her home. Morgan then hits Rachel over the fucking head.
Yep.
Which, fair. You broke into this man's fucking house.
Mm-hmm.
Self-defense minimum. He takes the TV away from her, like unplugs it from the wall and is ripping it out and taking it, and she's yelling at him this entire time about, what did you do to her? Where is she? How could you hurt her? Blah, blah, blah. He has this whole like AV set up in the bathroom, and he sets the TV on top of it, plugs it in on an extension cord that's plugged around his neck, and she goes to step into the bathroom as well, but the bathtub is filled and over flooded into the rest of the bathroom. So there is water everywhere with a bunch of electrical equipment.
Mm-hmm.
He just keeps saying, I thought it was over, but obviously this isn't ever going to be over. You coming here is proof of that.
The voices never stop. You know, you hear them in your dreams and like, yeah.
Just
as he's like plugging stuff into all these TVs and electrical setups and just like this pile of
VCRs
components
and just so much electrical
in the
shit.
bathroom.
And he steps into the tub, and this is wild way to kill yourself.
He puts on the reins from a horse, has those attached to, you know,
like
the
jumper
wires.
cables pretty much.
And he has this plug strip hanging down, like sitting against his chest that's plugged into all that shit as well. He turns the plug strip on, which makes all this shit explode. He fucking fries in the bathtub.
She screams. She like backs out of the bathroom. Noah appears out of nowhere, grabs her, and is just like, you're okay. And I'm like, get the fuck off of me. I wouldn't want you, whatever.
Yeah.
He looks into the bathroom and sees that Mr. Morgan has just offed himself. And
they talk about they talk about something, and then Rachel has the epiphany that like that's something to do with the barn.
they walk out of the house, and I think they pass the barn, or like they see it or something. And yeah, Rachel says Samara doesn't like the barn because of the horses. So they break into the barn. I guess, yeah, fuck it. The guy's dead. Sure. Whatever.
They break into the barn, and
there's a
the
ladder
only thing they see is the big ass fucking ladder in front of them,
leading up to a little loft area.
Yeah, which is maybe like 30 feet up. This is a big fucking barn. It is a tall ass barn.
It is
with like cathedral type ceilings, like fucking tall, not like fancy like
but like
that,
the big
but like
vaulted ceilings
that high. And so this little loft area is extremely high off the ground. They climb up it, and it's this like
it's a child's room.
It's a child's room. It's got, you know, the little carousel thing that makes the music, and it's got little chairs and like a little TV.
And then the like a little like toddler or like 8-year-old, 9-year-old bed that has a pink comforter. It's got the wallpaper, the rocking horse. It's a fucking child's room. There are no barricades off the side of this.
Dude, and I just think of like the part of the Ring video where you just see the ladder fall to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine being a child stuck up in there, and then that ladder just like falling, and you're just like,
oh, it's not even falling.
Guess I'm trapped up here.
No, you know Morgan.
Well, yes,
takes down like the ladder every night, and like
100%.
Yeah.
Oh God, that freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah,
like,
no wonder she hate. Like no wonder. All right, no wonder.
No fucking wonder.
They look at, or Noah looks at the wallpaper and says there's something under there, so they start ripping off the wallpaper, and underneath it, burned into the wood, is the Japanese maple tree.
Yeah.
Sure.
And Rachel's like, oh my God, I've seen this tree. And Noah's like, what? And she's like,
Shelter Mountain.
Shelter Mountain. And
we get to Wednesday, day 7.
They go back to cabin 12 because that is where she saw the maple tree, and it gave off that like fiery hue as she was watching the tape at sunset or whatever. And they're in the cabin like talking about this as you see the shittiest looking hill in the background with the maple tree, and it's orange as fuck, and you're just like,
it's rough.
It's not very good looking. It's probably the silliest thing in this whole movie.
They fight about Rachel dying, where she says that he has to help Noah because it's her last night, because she watched the tape when it was, you know, the fiery glow, like it's coming up on her time to die here any second, and you have to help Noah, and pretty much just telling him, hey, you have to step the fuck up because I'm about to die, and you have to be a dad because our kid's gonna be an orphan. And he loses his shit and starts breaking everything and says there has to be a reason we're here, and obviously his first thing is violence, and he breaks over.
He starts breaking shit. He throws over a vase that's like filled with marbles, and he like thrashes over a TV, and
turns over one of the chair things, I think.
Yeah, he just like thrashes the room, and he like stops. Rachel realizes that all these marbles are culminating in one place in the middle of the floor, like underneath this couch. Like side table, or the couch, whatever. And so they're like, what the fuck? They move all that stuff off, they rip the rug off, and
Noah goes outside to get a fire axe.
Well, it's this like
circle,
blackened circle on the floor.
It's like the body decay, when a body lays in an area too long and you just get that like stain of black and gross gunk, but it's in a circle instead of a body.
Yeah. So Noah goes to get an axe. He comes in, he starts hacking up the floor, and Rachel's just sitting there watching him do it.
This is the biggest fucking hole in existence. Do you know how much manpower it would have taken to do that? There's no way. It was a mini compilation, like, of him just like digging into the fucking floor with the axe. So it must have taken a while, because he made the hole big. It was bigger than the well underneath that they end up finding. It's huge. It's like the whole living room floor, pretty much.
Yeah.
Dude did not do that. I don't care how much anger you have, you only have so much stamina.
Mm-hmm.
There is a stone cover on the top of the well that they end up having to push off. They shine a light down there but can't see the bottom. And then it cuts up to the ceiling, or not the ceiling, sorry, it's their ceiling now, but the floor where water starts leaking from the TV and nails start getting pulled out from the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Final Destination style.
Yeah.
They throw a rock into the well, and it does not splash. It does
Mm-hmm.
not thunk. It does not make a sound. It doesn't sound like it hits the floor at all.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, wait. And then a swarm of flies a la Batman just up and slam into their faces.
I was gonna say Legion style, but you haven't seen Legion.
Mm-mm.
Fuck, we gotta watch Legion,
I know,
bro.
I know.
God damn. Yeah, all these flies fly up. They start freaking the fuck out. And in the midst of this, the TV, or like the floor gives out, and the TV, like on top of its cabinet or whatever it's sitting on, it starts sliding down the floor towards Rachel, and it slams into her, and she goes flying into the well.
In the wildest, what the hell
The
kind of
most
scene is this?
ragdolly, like insane, dude.
She would have conked her head. Well, she does. She hits her head on the side of the well, falls into the well. I gotta talk about this. How the fuck did this woman survive getting ping-ponged around in that well till she hit the bottom that does have water, and she is passed the fuck out when she hits the water?
Yeah, because all I think of is It. Even the more recent movie, you know, when in It Part 1, when they like find the well, and oh god, what's his name? Is like fighting the bully outside the well.
I almost said Duncan, and that is no one's name.
No,
They all have the most basic names in that movie.
I can't remember, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And then he pushes the bully into the well, and like, goddamn,
It's not.
that shit's brutal. Like, my point is, falling down that well would have definitely killed her.
Yes. And if not falling in, being passed out in water.
Yeah, because we come to underwater looking at her face down with her eyes closed in the water. And then she like wakes up thrashing for air.
Sorry, I got stuck on the...
No, you're good.
She comes to thrashing for air, and she gets the Samara flashback to Anna talking to her, wrapping something around her face, her struggling for a hot second, and then being dropped into the well.
Yeah. Anna basically being like, you were everything I wanted, as she puts a bag over her daughter's head to suffocate her. And then as Samara stops moving, she just like pushes her into the well.
And she was still alive because Rachel finds her fingernails dug into the side of the well where she had scratched them off entirely. And if you look at Samara's hands, she does not have fingernails because they got scratched off.
And that is how an Onryo is born, through vengeance and a very unjustified and evil death.
Yeah.
Onryos are born. I think The Grudge is also an Onryo.
I believe so, yes, if I remember correctly. They're around the same time period, too. Not to go off on a Grudge tangent, but I feel like anytime you talk about one, you have to talk about the other.
It's like the Markiplier and Jacksepticeye of the horror movies. It's just like there's two of them, you know?
Or Freddy and Jason.
Yeah, it's, you know, you got to have the red and the green, the black and the white, Shit, dude, AVP. Anyways, we got to get through this.
So Samara's body floats to the top of the well, right? Rachel scoops her up and kind of just holds her, and she looks pristine, looks just like how she did when she died. Noah is screaming over the edge, saying, "Are you there? Are you okay? What do you mean, are you there? Where else is she gonna be?"
Well, to be fair, they didn't hear the bottom of the well when they like dropped the rock in. Maybe he's being like, "Can you even hear me? Or are you too far down that like..."
I think the phrasing was just bad. Are you
that's
there?
fair.
Because it should be like, "Can you hear me? Are you okay?" Not, "Are you there?" Also, can we talk about where the hell is this cabin?
Yeah, why is this well so far away from
everything else that happened?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that cabin's not even on the island with the farm or the lighthouse.
So the psychiatric hospital is on the mainland, so it's not
Yeah.
on the farm.
Oh,
Or
okay,
it's
so
not
I
with
guess
the lighthouse stuff.
it would make sense that she would...
But I don't know how close to the psychiatric hospital is, because it sounds like the psychiatric hospital is closer to the island than these cabins are, but we don't ever get a concrete map. But she, like, takes a day to go up to the cabins, where when they go to the island, she has to take 2 days off and has to get someone to watch her son.
Yeah, and has to, like,
overnight.
take a ferry and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
So, and they don't ever mention how close the psychiatric hospital is to the cabins at all, ever.
I don't fucking know, dude.
It's just, that's something I thought of. Because Noah mentions that we went all that way and now we had to come all the way back. Like,
Yeah,
it makes it
and
sound like it's a big difference.
Why would Anna take her daughter all that way to the well? Also, if that well wasn't on the island, why would the island be cursed?
Well, the island was cursed because Samara lived there. Samara was the curse.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So,
Yeah, you're right.
So when Samara got taken off the island was like, hey, we're
Yeah,
free.
that's right.
But where is this well? Anna or Samara, one of them or both of them are in the psychiatric hospital. So why is Samara just like free with her mom right now for her to be able to be murdered? Am I missing something?
Maybe she, like, picked her up and was like, we're going to go to the mountains today.
Oh, I guess, okay, so I guess Anna
Like-
wasn't in the hospital, right? Because the doctor tells Samara, you can see your mom when you're better.
Yeah, so maybe, like, her mom picked her up and then, like, took her out into the woods, like, in a different part of town. I don't fucking know.
I don't know, it's weird. They
She-
somehow get Rachel out of the well. And
Well, she's holding the body and it's, like, pristine, and then she's looking down at it, and then all of a sudden, like, the flesh starts to just, like, melt away, and then she's left there holding just a skeleton, and
that holds together.
she's finally like, I'm here.
She drops the skeleton back into the water.
Yep. And then somehow they get her out, and
Well,
they
he
have...
calls the cops, so I don't know if the cops help her get
Yeah,
out. It
so
just
they
made
have-
it seem like she was out of the well when the cops came.
They have emergency teams come out and, I guess, pull her out. They're also
They're-
supposedly taking the body out so that they can give her a proper burial and all this.
Next week.
And so essentially they're like, we freed her. We did it. Like,
It's okay. It's over.
she's no longer trapped in this dark place, and, you know, we can all hopefully live on.
Yeah, Noah like hugs her as she's wrapped in a blanket, and he's like, how long do you think you can survive down there? And Rachel sits up and says, 7 days. You can survive 7 days down there. So
Which, yeah.
the curse is you will survive as long as she was able to in the well, and then you die.
Mm-hmm.
They go to pick up Aiden, who is passed out on the floor like he's dead, and like the aunt just let him lay there.
Yeah, you know, my first thought, because this kid is supposedly self-sufficient, right? There's no reason why he wouldn't have picked himself up and, like, you know, walked his ass to bed.
No, because he already had put himself to bed previous. We know
So-
that he like puts himself to bed.
So my first thought when you come in, they come in so calmly and they're like, "Oh, look at him." My first thought would be like, "Is he dead? Oh my god!"
Especially
and like
with
run
the way
out.
he's like freaking Family Guy passed out. What?
He's fucking like Peter Griffin lying there on the ground with his leg fucking.
And-
But kids do sleep like that, and we've talked about that.
That-
Where like parents will come in on their kids like in a pretzel halfway off the bed, and they'll have to like pick them up and reorient them and like tuck them in.
But he's on the floor. He's not even on the bed. It's the thing. If he was in
Just-
bed, it would make sense. He's on the floor. It's not even like a makeshift like pallet on the floor. You know how you used to stack blankets? He's on the carpet. Half
Yeah.
on the carpet, half off the carpet. Okay, sure, whatever.
They pick him up, they put him in the car, and they're all driving.
He opens his eyes as they hold hands in the front seat. And then they tuck him into bed, and then Noah leaves, and he's like, give me a call sometime, as long as you're not renting a movie. And says something else, and Rachel just kind of like, okay, bye.
Mm-hmm.
Shoves him out the door. The next day, Aiden wakes up, and Rachel is laying down, just kind of watching him, like she's in the bed with him, just kind of watching him sleep, making sure he's okay. And he asks about the little girl and if she is still in the darkness. And when she says no, he sits up and he's like, did you help her?
Yeah, and she's like, "Yeah, we set her free. Everything's fine." And he's like, "You weren't supposed to do that." She's
never
like,
sleeps.
what do you mean? Yeah. And he's like, she never sleeps.
And she rolls up his sleeves on his PJs, and he has a hand burn on his hand, on his fucking forearm.
Yep.
And then it cuts to Noah in his flat, working on something, free as a bird, no cares in the world, when his TV clicks on to static.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what the hell? So he like rolls his little chair over, looks, and he's like, that's weird. Clicks
Turns
the
it
TV
off.
off again.
Walks away. It turns back on. He looks over.
And it's the well this
And
time.
it's the well. You see hands coming out of the well. Creepy enough, the hair also like
Comes
creeps
up,
out of
yeah.
the well as if they're also like it's hands. And it's like covering her face the whole time as she like crawls out, and then she stands up and she starts like meandering and like kind of shuffling towards the TV screen, and he's staring like starting to panic. And then she kind of like glitches forward closer.
Then we get our iconic scene
Yeah,
of her
she
crawling
starts
out.
crawling out of the TV. A bunch of water is like dripping out of it, and almost like water is coming out of her.
Mhm.
She's like leaving these puddles, and she stands up, and then she glitches forward again towards him, and it scares him, and so he like falls back into this shelf and like knocks it over and lands on top of it.
And there's glass shattered everywhere, and he's like trying to crawl away, and his hands are getting cut by all this fucking glass.
His phone is also ringing because Rachel has been trying to call him nonstop to warn him.
That it's not over.
The phone never gets answered, and so she's racing over to his place. It cuts to her, runs in, she hits the elevator button.
It's too slow, so she takes the stairs.
She runs up the stairs. She opens the door to the apartment. She sees Noah
In a
facing
chair.
away from her in a chair. And she walks in and like calls out, and he doesn't respond. And the floor's fucking wet everywhere.
Mhm.
And she walks up and she spins the chair around, and we don't see his face, but she screams the most blood-curdling scream. Then it cuts to her like running down the stairs,
And then
hiding because she sees Noah's new girlfriend
Beth.
getting into the elevator downstairs.
And she's like, ooh. And she looks, we forgot to mention, Aiden got a bloody nose while they were talking about all of this.
Oh, yes.
And so while she's hiding, she's holding his bloody nose tissue and
Yeah.
is just thinking about her son. So she runs back into her apartment, screams at Aiden to go to his room, and he's startled as fucking like scrambles to leave. She grabs the tape out of the VSR,
VHS.
the VHS out of the VCR, and just starts ripping it apart, throwing it in the fireplace. What did I do? You can't take him. Why wasn't it me? What did I do different? And then she like thinks about it, and she's like, what did I do different? And she remembers and sees the copy of the VHS under the couch, and she's like, oh shit. And so she takes Aiden to work the next day and has him make a copy. And he's,
She holds his hands and makes his hands press the record button, and like makes him push the VHS into the thing so that he's the one making the copy.
Mhm.
So they're sitting there watching this again. God, I don't even remember what he says, but
he says,
like,
what happens to the person who watches it?
yeah, and she's just like,
You're safe. She pretty much just says, I don't fucking care because I know you will be safe.
Yeah.
And then it does it cuts to the ring sign, and then it quick succession shows the entire tape. That whole like last chunk is the entire tape slammed into like 3 seconds, and then it's the ring symbol. And then it cuts to the credits.
and that's it.
That's it. The DVD VHS version, whichever you have, does have extended scenes that help explain some more stuff with Samara, apparently. The suicide is longer and more graphic. They had to cut it down because it had a rated R rating, and they're like, ooh, we wanted this to be PG-13. So they had to cut the suicide down. It also has like the whole tape that you can watch on the extras. I guess it's like a secret little menu you have to click, and it like glitches out your remote, so you can't change the channel.
Oh, that's creepy.
You can't do anything on it.
Ooh.
The only way to stop it is to turn off your TV. Originally, I think in some of the screenings they like had VHS tapes on the chairs.
Oh, I bet.
Of the VHS for you to watch.
That's so like Blair Witchy.
Oh yeah.
Like that back then when promoters and advertisers had to really think outside the box and not just rely on algorithms to push their advertisements. They had to like come up with all these really intricate ways to get people in on the butt of the joke or whatever it was, you know, like, I mean, Blair Witch is obviously like the biggest example because they didn't tell initial screeners or viewers that it was a movie. They said, hey, this is something that we found and we were hoping to show it to the public, so here you go. And so you just had a bunch of people being like, the Blair Witch Project, and then it became this fucking huge thing. Yeah. And so, oh man, like,
yeah, they did that with the marketing too. I guess they showed like clips and random shit and did not mention a movie for like a month. Jesus. So they had all of these like commercials or shit, but it didn't say like coming soon or this movie.
Just people being like, dude, I was watching commercials the other day and then like this fucking image of a well showed up on my TV and a girl started climbing out of it.
Apparently.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah, dude, no, that's so top tier, bro. Oh my God, I miss it.
And I do want to mention the Sadako versus Kayoko movie that we found recently, which is for English, Samara versus The Grudge. And I've never seen it.
That's like a Freddy vs. Jason, Alien vs. Predator type situation. So we're probably going to be covering that in some form.
If you haven't watched, what is it? Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking here.
Yeah, bro. 100%.
But this movie, obviously, classic, hella recommend.
I do recommend, 100%.
It's got to be added to the list, even if it's just for classic nostalgia of it's the
fucking Ring, bro.
Exactly.
That's like when people are like, have you seen White Noise? Like, bro, I've fucking seen White Noise. Are you kidding me? That's what it feels like to me, is in that like kind of same vein. It's
a top tier classic. Obviously, it's been a while since I've seen the original. You said everything I've read is that the original 1998 version, like the Japanese version, blows this one out of the water. It's so much better.
We're going to cover it, but we wanted to do something a little more well-known just because we've done a lot of interesting movies recently.
Yeah, well, again, we'll be better about that next month and the coming months of making sure we're more deliberate about what movies are coming out and when they all come out. We're also going to hit
up your recommendations as soon as possible. We have a bit of a schedule, but we're going to be moving things around. If we don't get to your movie immediately, we will get to it. I promise.
Add it in our Discord.
Yep.
We have a whole channel for recommendations.
Yep.
I still need to start adding our link tree to the descriptions of these videos. These audio files. But go watch it. Add it to the list.
Go watch it. And don't die 7 days from then.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Follow our Instagram and Threads at No Self Service Pod. Until next time.